Okay. So now we are going to discuss more on vibration measurement. So far we have discussed about what are the signatures of vibration, the sensors for vibration measurement, etc. And now let us go into the analysis of those vibration measurements. Okay. So what are the type of sensors? Up to that we have discussed. Okay. So what it is generating is some signal, voltage signal mostly, which we are getting from the sensor. Now out of that signal which is coming from the displacement sensor, vibrometer, accelerometer, whatever, we are getting a periodic function, right? Something, a periodic function, that is what we are assuming. We are not going into random vibration and other things. Our assumption is that our nature of vibration is periodic here. So what we will do from there, first we will decompose the vibration signal into the individual simple harmonic components. So that was introduced first. Okay. The technique that is used for that purpose is based on the analysis carried out by Fourier, okay, French mathematician also. So about this Fourier we have also mentioned in our history of mechanics lecture. Name was there. So what it is, he has many contributions, but one such contribution is prediction of this Fourier series. What is that? This series, say the series is S in time, function of t, t might be something else. It is the independent variable, and this signal S is periodic. This is the requirement, periodic function. Now satisfying Dirichlet's condition, so that part is something with mathematician, but we can find out what is Dirichlet condition. We are not going into that.
Analysis. Boundary conditions.
There is some boundary condition. Okay. Whatever, let us not focus on that. So if the function is periodic, then that particular function is t. It can be expressed as a Fourier series. What is that series? So it contains some sine or cosine terms. So this function is periodic. Now it can be expressed like this, where this is a constant part, and you see the individual components, they are harmonic, either cosine function or they are sine function. So where this omega, this is the period of this function. The function is periodic, so we know what is the period of the function. Say omega is the period and k is some integer which is running from 1 to infinity. So what is 2 omega, 3 omega, etc. They are those orders of vibration, right? First order, second order, third order, etc. So k is non-harmonic number. They are the corresponding Fourier coefficient. That means with omega we have this coefficient A1. With 2 omega we have the coefficient A2. That way. And how they are obtained, these coefficient A0, AK and K, they are obtained from this measurement. So I think you did Fourier analysis in your mathematics also. There were some mathematical example to find out these coefficients from the series and other things. That part you know. Now, what is done in analysis part? There, this Fourier's analysis where a periodic function is decomposed into individual harmonic components that is used in the measurement unit itself. So this is based on Fourier series, or this particular operation is also known as Fourier transformation. If this can be done, if we can express a periodic function in this way, then we will say we have transformed the function into another form, and that transformation is known as Fourier transform. Now in our analysis, when we use that transformation, so that is implemented through a particular mechanism. This F stands for fast Fourier transform. So this FFT analyzer is a particular measurement unit. We will be talking about that, because this idea might be something new in connection with vibration measurement only. This FFT analyzer comes. So understand, this stands for fast Fourier transform analyzer. Now this FFT analyzer, again, this is used for the purpose of spectrum analysis. So what is spectrum analyzer? Let us see a transformation from time domain to frequency domain. Rather, you see this particular example, such type of things you have seen earlier, right? So there is a system, on one part there is a force, right? And when there is some force on the system, we are getting a response from the system, right? So this is the system, our system. We are exciting it by a force. That force is known as the excitation. It has amplitude, it has a frequency, and this phase. So there can be a relative phase, or we can measure it as through phase angle. Here also we can measure it through phase angle. This is the response of the system. So these two, this response and this excitation, as if they are connected with some parameter. This is known as the frequency response of the system. It is function of the mass damping stiffness of the system. So this part of analysis, this analysis is known as frequency response analysis, or this particular function also, it is called frequency response function. So this frequency response function, this we obtain from these FFTs. So now you see why this FFT analysis leads to this spectrum analysis. And so here you see what is the input. This forcing here, the input is a signal not in time domain, but this is in frequency domain. And then this is what we are getting. This we can measure. From vibration measurement, we have sensors, something. We can express it in frequency domain. So this is our time signal, okay? This is the vibration signature in time plane. We have expressed it in frequency. This was our excitation, repeated hammering, say. We'll get such a plot. In time plane we have a repetitive hammering. right? This is producing such a frequency plot. So these things we are getting through FFT analysis, right? From these, what we are getting is this frequency response model or the spectrum of the system. Clear? So this is the use in connection with dynamic analysis, this frequency response function and the FFT analysis. These two are much important parameters in any vibration analysis. So types of FFT analyzer or signature analyzers. One is this digital signal processing or FFT analyzer in digital signature processing. This is known as DSP. So in our application in vibration measurement, we use this DSP, and actually in our laboratory we have this DSP. Its limitation is up to 40 megahertz. Okay. Now in electrical engineering or other type of signal analysis, there are special type of this FFT analyzer, signal analyzer, where they can analyze signals up to 6 gigahertz. Okay, but in our application in structural vibration, cantilever beam, in rotodynamic experiment, this frequency range is good enough. Now we understand what is it. Ultimately, if we determine FFT, our ultimate objective is to find out this function, frequency response function. What is the advantage? If any one of this is known, then we can find out what would be the other thing. Okay, this is the thing, but let us focus on FFT, how this is done. So these are FFT analyzer. This is DSP, digital signal processing. Okay. Now, you have seen Fourier analysis. His time period was end of 18th century and beginning of 19th century, that period. So this digital technology, this came out recently, but in recent past, within last 50 years or less than that. But previously also we had analog type FFT analyzer. So both are FFT analyzer. This is analog type, this is digital type. What is it? FFT, that part we have discussed earlier also, right? We have a signal in time domain that is decomposed in it. Say this is the actual signal we are getting in time domain, right? Now from this signal, what we did is we expressed it in individual harmonic waves, and that harmonic waves are shown here. First order, second order, third order, etc., etc. Okay. So this, when we'll see from this direction, so actually this direction is our frequency direction, right? Clear? So this is 10 hertz, then 20 hertz, 30 hertz, 40 hertz, like that. So this axis is our frequency axis, and what we will see, the amplitude of these individual signals, that means these coefficients.
Yes, sir.
So this thing we are carrying out by using this FFT analyzer. We cannot talk about anything about this analog. But regarding digital analyzer, this is what we are using actually. Actually it is a photograph of that particular DSP, Tektronix made DSP, that we use in actual experiments. I do not know whether you have used it in your experiment or not, but we have this instrument. So understand there are so many controls, okay? Whatever. we'll see some of the features of FFT analyzer. This analog type, understand what is this spectrum from this signal, how it is coming. So this is our DSP, digital storage, say it is oscilloscope. This is the model. Now, what are the two axes here?
Frequency.
No, actually, it primarily it is an oscilloscope. So this gives a YT signal. Understand what is YT? YT means some amplitude time signal.
Yes.
And from that YT signal, so this is our YT signal primarily. So when we carry out this FFT analysis, then we get this. So primarily we get in time axis the periodic signal we get here. And when we select FFT operation here, we get this particular type of output from this analyzer. So you understand, this whole thing is carried out by the analyzer itself. So there is some mechanism through which it is carrying out the operation. So what you can do, see, if you do not have this particular, say, analyzer, you have a simple oscilloscope. But say you have a digital way to convert your analog signal of the oscilloscope to a digital one, right? In that case, you can take that signal itself for the digital reading in MATLAB also. So it has a inbuilt function, some module is there, where you can carry out this FFT operation. There itself what it can do, this is not capable of doing FRF. Okay. It will give you FFT signal only. A complete spectrum analyzer will give you the FRF signal also. Frequency response function you will get there directly. But what you can do from here, you get FFT directly. There are two channels. You take one for the excitation, you take one. Okay, these are some input channels. These two. Other one from the response. Okay. Then these two FFTs you send. Again in MATLAB there is a provision to make that FRF function. You give those two FFT signals in MATLAB or any other software based FRF analyzer. You will get FRF. Okay. So that way it is useful. To understand, when we are taking this FFT, making this FFT from our time signal, what is this particular axis? Now this particular axis is always in display. That you understand. So that way the input here can come from LVDT, from any vibrometer, from accelerometer, from dynamic load sensor, whatever. That you understand. So this is why this FFT analyzer, understanding the FFT analyzer is necessary, and why there are so many controls. One is some selection, okay? Why this selection part is required. So this part you understand, right? V0 is a specified reference voltage, and this is the thing. Okay. Now we must understand how this is carried out digitally somehow to understand these operations. this part you know what is being done, how we are converting time domain data into frequency, okay, through Fourier series. So what are the modules of FFT analyzer? The input signal is analog, right, from the sensor. This is our input signal, and that sensor is giving analog signal, a voltage output in time. Then there are some filtering. We'll be talking about this filtering. What is this filtering? Then there is analog to digital converter. Then there is some overlapping. Then there is some windowing operation, and then this transformation is carried out. On that, some averaging is done, and then it is displayed or data is stored. This is the way or pathway by which an FFT analyzer works. Clear? So now, first part is this analog signal input. That means we are getting such an analog signal, and this is from here. We must understand what is the time period. Actually, these machines, they are intelligent enough. They can find out what is the period from this time signal. From this time signal, these machines can sense what is the period, time period of that signal, and that part is a frequency. There is a selector which you can select also. Okay, so that is known as the central frequency, and about which what is this filtering? This filtering is, there are many components. Okay, so in analysis there are many components which are a much higher order of that period or much lower order. So very low, high frequency, very low frequency compared to that central frequency or the frequency of our interest. That part is filtered. This is clear? So this is done, and then analog to digital conversion is carried out. Okay. So what does it mean? This conversion means, say, y equal to sine omega t is an analog function. When you will convert it digitally, what does it mean? You will represent the function in tabular form. If your time period is, say, 20 milliseconds, you have to take, say, 1000 data points within that, and you will find out what are the values at that time period. You will construct a table. This is your digitization of the data, right? Clear? So what the machine is doing? This is the signal. We understand what is the time period. Say if this is the time period, okay? Within that, it has to take certain number of measurements.
Yes.
This is known as the digitization of the data. Analog to digital conversion means that. Okay. What is this overlap? This we'll discuss actually here. Overlapping, actually something like that. Okay, whatever. Overlapping is here. Some part. This is this overlap. So there is one part. One is data collection part, and one is the analysis which is carried out inside. That requires some time, and this data collection also it requires some time. Okay. So there is data collection. Say you are collecting 1000. It depends. You can change that also. And then on that data, you need to carry out the analysis. and then again you have to stop. Either you have to do it parallelly or serially. Okay. So that way, what is overlap, some part of data collection, okay, is done while it is carrying out the analysis. Some part of data from the previous data set on which it is carrying out the analysis. Okay. This is done when this analysis is carried out, some part of the previous data for this. Some part of previous data is taken, and that way the procedure repeats itself. Okay. So it is getting signal which is analog, but it is giving you this FFT plot. So it is not instantaneous.
Yes.
So that requires an analysis part. First one is analysis part, AD conversion part is there. This is FFT. This is the analysis part. This is data collection. So this overlap part is there also. This AD conversion and this analysis, within that there is an overlap. This overlap of data collection and analysis. This is clear. Now what is windowing? Windowing is also a particular operation that is carried out there. So these things are some of the features which you can select here. Okay. Then there are some averaging also. You have seen some of the averaging, right? Average root mean square, etc. Whatever. Some other thing, display and storage. That part is also there. So we'll be talking about some filtering technique or overlapping, windowing, etc. Here in FFT cases. Now sampling rate. What is sampling rate, you understand, right? So it is basically this conversion from analog to digital, how many data point is necessary. So that is known as sampling rate. So if our time period is 20 millisecond and if we need to take 1000 measures, data point there, what would be the sampling rate? 20 by 1000 millisecond. Right? So that would be our sampling. Okay. Sampling is the process of recording the amplitude of a wave at a given instant, right? And then generating a curve from the record. This is clear? This is what is done. Thus, the collected discrete sample data, the digital data, are used to reconstruct the wave which is originally in an analog form. This is what is happening. So, here in this thing, some error might come up.
ফ্যাকচুয়েশন যদি স্যার অনেক হয় অ্যানালগ ডেটাতে কার্ভে, তাহলে সেক্ষেত্রে যখন আমরা ডিজিটাল নিতে যাবো স্যার কার্ভ
There you have to select a central frequency, a frequency component of interest. Okay, there is a sampling theorem. It is states, let us see what is there. We are not to lose any information contained in sample signal. We must sample at a frequency rate of at least twice the highest frequency component of interest.
ফ্যাকচুয়েশনটাকে উইদিন রেঞ্জের মধ্যে থাকতে হচ্ছে। ফ্যাকচুয়েশনটা স্পিডে ঠিক হয়েছে, ওটাকেও একটা রেঞ্জের মধ্যে থাকতে হচ্ছে ম্যাক্সিমাম প্রাইস।
Or it has a measurement range, and then you have to select from there what is your frequency of interest. That you can change also within that range. Okay, there are again some techniques are there to improve accuracy in that range. It is not that this frequency component of interest is a fixed one. It can change. If it is known, it will focus there. So that technique is also there. Now, this is aliasing, this phenomena of formation of a lower frequency due to undersampling is called aliasing. So there are anti-aliasing filter, right? So this is taken care of by anti-aliasing filter. This is the detailing of that. It is related with the sampling. So more detailing is not required here. And then what are the pitfalls or errors coming from this sampling? It is shown here. This is undersampling. So this is our actual signal. We are using a low sampling rate. We are as if taking a value here, another value at that point. In such case, if we construct it, we will get this. So this is the error. So in such cases, that anti-aliasing filter corrects this thing. Filtering has to occur before digitization of the analog. This is important. So anti-aliasing is pre-requirement analog to digital conversion. Otherwise such errors will come up. This is fine. And then analog to digital conversion, this is a standard procedure. So there again you see in 12-bit it can take 4096 interval. So up to this point the input signal is after filtering what it is getting. And depending on the hardware of that machine, actually our machine, that means this one, this is a 12-bit one. So you can take maximum 4096 interval there. A high-end machine, it can take much more number of points there. These are some circuits, electrical or instrumentation circuit we don't require, but what we understand is that filtered signal comes here. Okay. And from here what is shown is basically this digitization, some analysis, FFT analysis, everything, and ultimately in the screen that FFT signature is coming. This FFT signature is coming from the analog signal. Okay. From this signal we are getting ultimately this one, okay, our output part. But this is not all. Afterwards we had windowing, right? We had windowing here, this window operation. AD converter overlapping is there in FFT analysis. So before this an operation is carried out, overlapping is one part and windowing is another operation. What is windowing? Windowing is, say, so this is the errors which might come due to this analog to digital conversion. So for a particular cycle, if it takes sample from this point, the next one again will start from there. Okay, it would be repetitive perfectly. In such a case, okay, this is not synchronized part, and there is some truncation of this signal will occur. Okay. Here it is getting the synchronized signal. End parts are 0. So these corrections it can carry out, and And what is shown here, this is called a uniform or rectangular window. This is written here. What is meant by that? We'll see. There can be other type of window also. We'll see to it. So these two are important. One is the synchronized set of data. Other one is what type of window we are using to collect this data. You see, this is the window operation. Here, our window was rectangular. Whatever data point was there, we are taking out that. But if this is the signal, and on that, say up to this point, up to this data, we multiply whatever we are having here. If we multiply it with such a signal, with such a function, getting it? So what this signal will become when it will be multiplied with such a function, this is how it will look. Only the half part is shown, the other half would be thing like that. Got it? So this is known as an windowing operation. Before analysis, this windowing is carried out. This overlapping, windowing, these are the operations which you can use. So there were many controls in your FFT analyzer. You can select the type of window also. Now, connected with windowing operation, what is the error? This signal gets somewhat distorted. Is it not? This one is becoming somewhat elongated. But this way, this windowing gives you better resolution of your output. In your FFT plot, you will get some amplitudes are much prominent. Okay. So you have to do it, and you must understand how this can be done. So this picket fence effect, why it is coming? It is coming due to this thing, right? Due to this phenomenon. We are not taking continuous data. Some portion is blocked due to this analysis part. There is data collection, then some analysis part, again data collection part, some analysis part. Right? So what is this view? It is, we are looking to a mountain range through a fence. So this part inside, only through this fence something is visible, the other parts are not visible. That sort of thing happens. And to correct that thing, this overlapping is done. So these are the techniques of FFT analysis. And ultimately what we do, hanging window, time domain. So usually hanging window can be applied at other frequency range also. Here also we can put the hanging window. This is a synchronized hanging window. Okay. At the maximum amplitude, this is given. Frequency domain with symmetricity, this is the thing. Okay, so these were the features of our FFT analyzer. Okay, so with this, these are the basic features we will be using in our experiments.